Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, depending on when you're watching this. I am doing this today because, first of all, I haven't had the chance to actually do any podcasts in a while because I have a life and things to do, and I am human and have a lot of things keeping me busy. However, there's a phenomenon I want to talk about, which is the phenomenon where women change their reproductive plans or reproductive agenda for themselves depending on the men they are with. And I would like to use two examples to discuss this. So let's talk about Jeannie Mai, who we know from her previous marriage explicitly said that she did not want to have kids until she met her current husband, Jeezy, and has a child with him. And also, let's just talk about John Mulaney and his wife, who they both agreed that they didn't want to have kids, but now that he has one, she has to start freezing her eggs just as some kind of backup plan. And I've always found it very weird that women were willing to change their entire reproductive strategy based on a man, when we know, in most cases, if not all the cases, if anything were to happen to that partnership, you would still be left with an overwhelming majority of the childcare. So, isn't it best that you have a reproductive strategy that's solely yours and that you optimize for a partner that fits into that reproductive strategy? Like, personally, I want children, but I know that I want them via adoption. There are so many young girls that are brought into this world who are abandoned by virtue of the fact that they are born female in a wrong part of the world. So, intuitively, for me, that is the most authentic thing. That is what keeps me going to give those kids a trust fund, to give them a great life. I can't imagine changing that strategy completely or deterring from it too much just based on the fact that someone comes into your life. And I know that love is remarkable, but I hate the idea of women being put in difficult situations because John Mulaney's wife can afford to have expensive fertility treatments. But the average woman who thinks, oh, this man and I have agreed not to have kids, if he decides to leave when she's in her late 30s, is not in the situation to bounce back. And I think it's because we live in a society where there is no value system. And this is not a puritanical Christian belief kind of preaching situation. But it's more with the fact that when at least they were like, when you lived in a religious society, you were able to know that your value system was based around that religion. So you either knew, okay, I'm expected to have kids, I'm expected to marry and stay in that marriage, and you build around those values. However, if you do not know your value system, you'll be easily swayed by certain circumstances. I hope to see more women who know what they truly value in their life and ruthlessly pursue that despite or in spite or regardless of their romantic partnership. I love seeing single mothers by choice because I think women who decide that they want to have kids independently and are planning financially in a situation to give the child a great life are wonderful contributions to society, especially if they're having little girls, because I do not believe that women can raise men. Like I'm not I think single mothers try their best with their sons, but I do not think those sons are capable of respecting their single mothers. However, I want more women to take to be proactive with regards to their reproductive health, because at the end of the day you bear the an overwhelming majority of the burdens and an overwhelming majority of the risk if the pregnancy were to go astray, if the marriage were to go astray. So hinging an overwhelming majority of your decision whether or not to have kids based on your partner just does not seem like a good strategy. It's like saying, since pregnancy is a life or death situation, you can literally die from having kids, that there is a surgery out there, an elective surgery, because you can elect to have kids, you can elect not to. And this surgery is high risk, high reward. Like if it goes very well, maybe you'll be very happy with the outcomes. And if it goes poorly, you can choose not to have if it goes poorly, you'll be really dissatisfied. And what if could you imagine people saying, "Oh, I'm just going to have this life altering surgery that's going to affect me for the rest of my life if I find a good enough surgeon." It sounds right, but don't you know what you want for your life? Like, I think more than anything, I want more people to have a full value system for their life and to build around values that are very authentic to them. And I want more women to even be willing to be in the gray zone, but acknowledging that they're in the gray zone An example of this is, yes, I want one kid, but I want one and done. I do not want more than one. I do not think I can manage more than one. And not change their reproductive strategy on men, because even in war times or in good times or bad times, you will be the one to bear the majority of child care, child responsibilities, and the pregnancy risk on its own is alarming. Also, I've really thought about the lack of a value system, as I said earlier. I've done this thing where I ask all the well adjusted adults around me what they value and how they make choices in life. And an overwhelming majority of adults do not have a value system, which is scary, alarming, off putting. I mean, I knew we were all raw dogging life, but like I didn't know it was this bad. And I hope that more of us develop a robust, sophisticated value system where we're able to look around at the things that matter to us and create a life that aligns fully with those things. I'm also in the midst of a quarter life crisis, not in a bad way, but in a good way. I recognize that this is the point in my life where I have to reparent myself and equip myself with the skills that will allow me to be the most productive version of myself and contribute best to society. And what that means is that I have to actually do some deep introspection, self discovery, and action, because I specify action because I think a lot of the media focuses on internal work, while a lot of times, if you actually do external work, like create something, build something, focus on bringing something to the world, you can discover far more about yourself than internal work. So I'm trying to create what I want to see in the world, and I'm trying to find myself. So maybe that's why I don't post as consistently or write as consistently as I would like to. I hope for all women that we find peace in life, peace that nobody can take away from us. Peace with our children, peace with our partners, for those who want to have partners, for those who don't, for those who want to have children, for those who don't. I hope for all women that we create a robust inner world for ourselves, that we have wonderful friendships that fulfill us, that we execute on our grand ambitions, and that life be kind to us. I hope that for a majority of women, that they realize that their greatest limitations of themselves are actually not their limits, but that they can achieve far more. I want to see more women getting into industries outside of beauty because we have a birthright into creating the world we want to live in. I want to see more women in leadership positions to help shape the course of our history, whether it be political, social, or economic situations. I also hope for more women that they find more egalitarian, fulfilling partnerships, not just romantic, but also with their children, with their friends, and with their families. I really don't have a point to this because I've not, because as much as I do want to empower women, like an important part of empowering women is empowering yourself. And that's what I've been working on, learning new skills, growing as an individual, and seeing how I can affect the world around me. So I haven't had the time to just preach to women, oh, you are far greater than you actually imagine because, well, duh, you are. I mean, look at all the wars every single fucking day. Look at the entire European Union, Ukraine, and the US can't figure shit out for shit. Maybe this is more of a reason why women should get into politics because look at the situation. But I hope that more women have the deep courage and conviction to go into the world and manifest their fullest selves because the world needs you. This is not the world would like to have you. No, the world needs us to participate and participate well in its creation, in its fulfillment. I hope to figure out this quarter life crisis and move my life in a direction that feels more fulfilling to me. But till then, I hope you all have a wonderful day. There wasn't really much to this conversation. It's more of a way of me contributing and trying to reach out to more women in the internet. Have a value system and do not hinge your reproductive strategy on any man. If you want to have kids, set a timeline for yourself and choose when to have your children. If you do not want to have kids, hold on tight to that. It's okay for you to change your opinions, obviously. Like, why the fuck should you be listening to me? I'm a stranger on the internet. But let your opinions be yours. This is your life. Your life. Nobody gets to take that away from you. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And this is goodbye from Coffee.